Okay, about to set off on this epic adventure, 2019. Going from my place in Mobile, Alabama, and we're going to be riding to Chicago, 7 days on the road. I'm loaded up. I'm a little bit heavy right now because I've got a few days of food and stuff, so I'll get lighter as I travel. But I'm taking 3 days because I take the back roads. I'm not taking just expressway and camping along the way. So our first stop is going to be Tom Bigby State Park up in Tupelo, Mississippi. It's about 300 miles. The weather today is going to be great as far as rain, but super hot. I mean, we're talking, they're talking like upper 90s all day. So I got my Camelback, and we'll just do what we do. The only thing I'm worried about is I've got some new bark busters that I installed because I dropped my bike and broke my levers, and I got 2 new levers on either side. So those are a little untested. And I broke my turn signal as well and installed a new one this week, just an OEM turn signal, and that's all good. So anyway, how am I doing on fuel? I'm alright on fuel, so I'm going to reset my odometers and I'm going to go. Getting in the drive is going to be pretty boring, so I'm going to shut this off and I will come back when something interesting happens. I had some trouble when I left town. I wasn't, but I don't know, 5 minutes from my house, and I realized in setting up my trip computer so I knew how far this entire trip was going to be, and I was also trying to manage my mileage between fill-ups. So I've got a trip A and a trip B, and I needed to clear them both. Well, in doing that, I don't know what I pushed, but somehow I switched it from miles to kilometers. So everything was in kilometers. Like my speedometer was in kilometers, my gas tank was in liters, and for the life of me I couldn't figure out how to undo it. So of course I had to pull over, and I'm in some like parking lot 5 minutes from my house, pushing all kinds of things, trying to get it situated. I say situated on purpose, by the way. Anyway, I had to go online and do a Google search to figure it out. So I'm not kidding, it took me 15 minutes to get that. I was so mad at myself. And then I had to stop because my mirror went wonky, but in order to fix my mirror, I'm gonna have to get a tool out from under my seat. In order to do that, I'm gonna have to like take off all my bags, and I didn't want to deal with that. So now one of my mirrors is all wonky, but it turns out my other mirror I can see really well behind me, and it's fine. It's fine for today. If I was on 4-lane road, I would want it fixed, but it's fine for today. So I had to stop for that. I did stop once for gas, and then I just had lunch in a Mel at that park. And now I have a turn. I'm still in Alabama. I think my next turn is going to take me into Mississippi, and it's going to get me near Starkville, I think, based on the maps I was looking at, but I'm not 100% sure yet. But it's coming up in like 4 miles or something. Oh, here, we're in Mississippi. Boom, shakalaka-laka. Okay, I have arrived at Tom Bigby State Park, and it's about almost 3:30. So really good time, very happy with that. And I haven't even gotten to the park yet where I need to pay entrance fee and all that stuff. So let me figure that out right now. And this is really cool though, it's really pretty. It was a really windy road getting here. Super windy, which was pretty neat, the last 2 miles. So for firewood, they just have you scavenge. So I have plenty of wood for tonight, which is nice. I didn't have to buy any. It's nice to have a lot of RVs, so I'm going to be hearing some air conditioning later, but I got a nice site for what it is. There's a flame underneath, and I can adjust it with this lower, higher, and I've got just water in there too. water stops boiling. And when that's ready, then I'll put it in here. This is a pad thai. The evening campfire at the end of the day. I don't know if you can see my tent over there. And the bike is parked over there. And I'm just enjoying the fire, drinking some wine. Pro tip for you. I did one stupid thing today. When I was looking for a place to eat lunch, I was in some small town and I went past this really cool, like, multi-level baseball park, and I happened to spy some tables up high amongst some trees, some picnic tables up high amongst trees, and I thought, perfect place to stop and have my picnic lunch. Well, I had missed the turn, so I thought, well, no big deal. So I turned in the next, see, there's some gravel on the ground here. I turned into the next store that happened, the next parking lot, which happened to be like a little restaurant. And I turned around, I started heading back the other way. I had realized I was on a one-way street going the wrong way. Ay, ay, ay. I'm gonna have to go forward on the sidewalk. Anyway, let's do this. No, can't do it. Anyway, stayed in this Airbnb last night, and because the campgrounds around here. Oh shit! That's the second time I've done that recently. So stupid. Anyway, I'm gonna have to undo this whole fucking thing. God damn it. That was horrible. Did you? So I dropped my frickin' bike getting out of the driveway, and I was stupid. I should have just taken the time to reverse it properly. But no, I had to be like a smart ass and go on the sidewalk. Oh, that was so horrible. But really good news. I got the bike up by myself, and I followed everything I had, because I had dropped it before. I had sort of in my head gone over, okay, this is why you couldn't lift it up last time. This is what you need to do, blah, blah, blah. And I also credit my 15-year-old son, who is on his varsity football team, because we talked about how to power lift the bike properly to get it up. Because I just have not been able to do it. So I think I just had the confidence to get it done. And I took all the bags off, took my time, took my coat off. I'm like, okay, let me settle in. Let me go slow, let me go through my steps. And I got it. I'm so proud of myself, even though I'm disappointed that I dropped it. Well, you win some, you lose some, am I right? So today we are riding to Evanston, Illinois, to Don's house. Yay! So it's another 300, it's going to be like 310 miles, I think, today. And most of it's going to be not very interesting, except for when you dump your bike, reversing off a driveway. But it's going to get interesting when I get into like near Chicago. And I'd be lying if I didn't tell you I'm very apprehensive about it. So last night was awesome. I went, since I was at the Airbnb, and by the way, if I didn't explain, I got the Airbnb last night, which was just the second story of that entire house. And it was nice. I mean, it was a huge room, bathroom, had your own kitchen. And the reason I got it was because all the campgrounds around here, they wanted a 2-night minimum. I couldn't just get a Saturday night. So I'm like, gosh darn it. So I checked the Airbnb, wondering if there was something cheap. And this place was $30 for everything. Well worth it, because that's really almost what I paid for my last campsite was $30. So I'm like, screw it, I'll take that. So I didn't really have anything to eat, and I thought, well, for dinner, because I didn't want to make my little hot pot thing, my camp dinner. So I decided I was going to go out. So I asked her where I could go grab some dinner. She's like, I said, where can I walk? She said, oh, you can go over this section, whatever. It's like a mile away. Well, I ended up walking. I got confused with the directions, but I was looking at my map and Yelp, and I was in the general direction of where there were some restaurants. Ended up walking. It was a little over 2 miles. And then there was this nice couple out, and I talked to them, and they said, oh, we recommend you go here, whatever. And it was perfect. They gave a great recommendation. I got to sit at a bar, had some pumpkin beer, and ordered a pizza at the bar, and it was awesome. So, happy about that. Oh, shit, I gotta get over. Whoop. So, real happy about that. And then, after that, when I walked there, I walked through a pretty rough neighborhood, rough enough. I was not going to walk through that at night for sure. It was okay during the day. I always this is probably so stupid, but I always have this fallback because I run all the time and I run all these marathons. I always think I could kind of outrun if I need to. I could just start running away, and I'll be a little bit like Forrest Gump. Like, they may be able to catch me in a 100-yard dash, but I can keep going for 20 miles. So unless they're prepared to run a long way, I always figure I'm going to get away from somebody. That's my defense mechanism, which is pretty weak. Anywho, so I decided I wasn't going to walk back, so I just called for an Uber. Uber got there, and I wasn't even sure. I'm like, does Evansville have Uber? I don't know. Uber got there in about 2 minutes. This great driver, she's some woman, and she had she said her boyfriend was with her as kind of a bodyguard. Fair enough, because like I said, you have to go through a rough neighborhood to get to my place. And yeah, it was great. It was great. It worked out. Last night was a lot of fun. I enjoy stuff like that. Okay, so I'm currently riding down Sheridan Road. It's the north side of Chicago along the North Shore, and it's one of the premier address to have is if you live on Sheridan Road. But I'm taking this up to Highland Park, which is also on the North Shore, for my next night of adventure, where I'll be staying with my buddy Adam in his house with his lovely wife and children. So thought I would just record a bit, let you know what's been going on. So last night, which was Sunday night, I spent the night at my friend Don's house in Evanston, Illinois, and we met up with another friend from college, went out to dinner, and then to some really hoity-toity bar to have a $15 cocktail. Oh, there's Lake Michigan back there. I'm actually going to ride down to the lake, but I'm going to wait till I'm in Highland Park to do that, just because I can get down by the water and I know the area over there. So that was last night. Got home. Oh my God, I had one of the best night's sleeps ever last night. I was so exhausted from 1,000 miles of riding. So slept well, and then today I worked. Well, it's only 4:30 now, but I worked until about 3:30. And I'm going to have to check in on computer, maybe do a little bit more work today, which was very productive. For lunch, Don and I I had to go to the Apple store. Okay, so here's the story. This is just a comedy of errors. So yesterday, I'm getting to Don's house. I'm probably 25 miles away from his house, which is my final destination, right? Because once I'm at Don's house, I know where everything is. I just don't know how to get to Don's house from where I was at. So I finally am about 25 miles away, and my phone blacks out. So I have no GPS. So I'm like, okay, no big deal. I've got my USB charger on my bike, and I've had it plugged in. I must not have turned it on, so it wasn't charging. So I go to charge it. It won't charge. I can't get any life out of it whatsoever. I have no idea how to get to where I'm going. So I'm thinking, all right, well, maybe I need to buy a new cable? Is that the problem? So I stop at a store, try to get a cable. And it was a Advanced Auto Parts store, thinking they'd have one charging thing, and they don't. So then I decide, all right, let me just ask these guys for directions to Evanston. So they gave me directions. I found my way to Evanston. Then I'm in Evanston, and I realize, oh my God, Evanston's huge. I have no idea which side of Evanston's on. I know which street. I know if I know the main street. If I get to the main street, I know how to get to his house. So I have to stop and ask someone again. Anyway, the whole thing was like disconcerting for me because I'm passing streets and I'm like, should I turn here? Should I turn there? Where should I turn? Da, 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 da. I end up getting there probably 45 minutes later than I should have, which wasn't horrible, but I was absolutely exhausted from the day. And you got to remember, those last 25 miles, really the last 100 miles of my trip yesterday, is solid traffic. I promise I will never complain about traffic in Mobile, Alabama again, because it is essentially non-existent compared to what I went through yesterday for 100 miles. It was 100 miles that took it took like 3 hours, 3.5 hours to do 100 miles yesterday. It was insane, and I'm dreading it for my ride home because I know I'm going to experience the same thing. So I'm gonna actually look at some course options tonight and see which way, because I am going a different way home than I came. So I need to figure out which way it's trying to send me tomorrow. All right. So talk about twisties. We're going through a ravine here. I used to do this in the car really fast. I'm not going to take it a little bit easier on my bike because I don't want to. This is a very popular place for bicyclists to come through. Yeah, we used to park on this street, this Cary Avenue, because you had to have a sticker. We used to park there and then sneak down to the beach. I hope this is open. Yeah. And then we would sneak down here at night. I don't know what kind of condition it is down here. This is where we used to go swimming. Here's the Ravine Creek. This used to just be paved. I don't know what's happening here. Oh, they've got like a whole thing going. Oh, this is much different. Oh, they've got this whole like... Oh, I heard they were going to do something like this. They built like a nature center or something. Oh, I wonder if you can still swim here. Yeah, they've got this like nature center, and I think there's a big underneath to it or something weird. Huh, it's pretty cool. Alright, good morning everybody. It is Tuesday morning, and I was here last night at my buddy Adam's house, and had a good night, went out for dinner, saw my brother, saw a friend from high school, and went out for some drinks, had a good time, had a good sleep in his extra bedroom. So some storms came through early this morning, thunderstorms, and tomorrow the forecast is not great. So originally I was going to head home tomorrow, but I'm calling an audible and I'm going to head home tonight, and I'm hoping the campground where I have a reservation this evening I'm really hoping, or I have it for tomorrow night. I'm hoping they'll just be kind and say, oh yeah, we can switch that out for you, so you can do it tonight. Okay, I am at Hardin Ridge Campground in, I think it's in like Bloomington, Indiana. I rode about 285 miles today. Thereabouts. I have the campground to myself. There is literally, I'm sorry, this thing's crooked. There's literally nobody here. Got my campfire ready. Bought some wood. Charging my Bluetooth for my helmet right now. Got my tent set up. It's about 6:13, but I think I crossed over in the Eastern time. It's kind of weird in Indiana, and I'm pretty sure it's Eastern time. See you in the morning. Good morning, everybody. Survived the night, having the whole campground to myself. That's my camp right there. Everything's all packed up. It's 8:13 a.m., but I switched over to Eastern time zone. Indiana's funny that way. Somewhere there's a line, I don't know where. So it's really like 7:15. I like to be on the road at like 7:30. So this is perfect. Bike is all loaded, ready to rock and roll. So before I hit the road though, I'm going to do a loop through this whole state park just to see what it's like. There's some water. There's a boat launch I saw on the map, so I thought we'd head down there. I don't think it's terribly far. It was interesting being here all by myself last night, but it was great in that it was nice and quiet. And I finished my fire and I climbed into the tent, and I initially I was having trouble falling asleep because I was so hot, and I have these I bring with me these wipes and like hand wipes, like or diaper wipe kind of things. I don't know what you call these things. Anyway, I was like wiping myself down, thinking I could cool myself off, and then I did cool down, and I fell asleep. Woke up once in the middle of the night, and then I fell back asleep until like a half hour before my alarm was going to go off. And then I fell back asleep again. My alarm went off, woke me up, shut that off, and I slept for like another half hour. It was so dark out because I forgot about the time change. I had a shower this morning. Felt great. Hello, everybody. It is 11:17 a.m. on this beautiful morning, and I'm tuning us back in because I have had, without question, the best riding day ever of my life. Surprisingly, coming out from the campground this morning, I didn't realize I was in like Hoosier National Forest. It was all windy and hilly, and it's been on and off like that the entire day, and now it's starting again. We're going through the base of the Appalachians. I'm in Kentucky right now, and there's so many times I wanted to turn on the camera and it just wasn't convenient. But we went over the Ohio, this bridge over the Ohio River that was really incredibly cool. The stuff I've seen today has just been amazing. Love it. Love it. Got caught in a thunderstorm here. Very small one. It's almost done. Which is not a huge deal, but the huge deal is this is the first of several. This is the hotel I stayed at last night for my last night on this journey. It's been too hot to camp down here, 90s, and there were some. I'm really glad I did it because I rode through some storms last night, and there were supposed to be more possibly. They ended up going south of here, but the ground certainly would have been wet. I would have been worried about camping, and then on top of that, I would have Oh, I see, this is one way. That's the problem here. On top of that, I would have been hotter than heck. So this worked out really well for me. That hotel, though, was nasty. Like, the only thing I kept thinking was, you know, like in the movies when you got the hero and he's running from the police or something, and he's got to get holed up in a hotel and dye his hair or cut his beard or whatever so that nobody recognizes him. That's what this hotel was like, the kind of place that person, oh my God, how am I going to take a left here? The kind of place, how the hell am I going to go left here? That person would have stayed. This is going to be a nightmare. So, yeah, it was, I didn't sleep, I wouldn't pull the covers up over me because I was afraid of bed bugs. I mean, it was that bad. And I slept in my clothes because 6.3 miles. I was so grossed out. It was not very nice at all. And the room had a smell, like a very musty mildew smell, which wasn't very good. Yeah, just all around was nasty. I never really know what to do when you check out of a hotel, like that frightening little hotel I checked out of, which was a Days Inn, by the way. And I thought I've stayed at a Days Inn and it was decent. I must have stayed at a new one. I don't know, but this thing was crap. Everything was stained and splattered. The couch, I wouldn't sit on it. It had so many stains on it. It was so nasty. But I never really know, like sometimes there'll be a TV checkout. Well, this wasn't that sophisticated. This didn't even have, all right, let me go on this diatribe first. If you're gonna put in a fucking new flat screen TV, spring for the HD cable, not the fucking digital cable. And if you don't know the difference, people, shame on you. The digital cable is a digital signal that'll play on an HD, but everything's stretched. So it's not true HD. So what you can do is you go in your menu and your settings, and there's usually screen like setup of some kind, and it'll say zoom, panoramic, or stretch. That's supposed to be your compensation. Well, I went through all three of those. Nothing made the picture better. It's always stretched, and it's fucking garbage to watch TV like that. And it's not like I'm trying to watch, a movie. I'm just trying to watch the news or whatever. And it's like you got your basic digital package, so I'm looking at CNN, but it's all stretched funny. So the TV's all stretched and everything, which right there you know it's a bad hotel. Anyway, going back to checkout. So some hotels on the TV, they'll actually have like a menu for guests, and you can even like check out there and do some other things. I don't know, view announcements maybe. I don't know. Anyway, clearly this hotel is not set up for that, and I did scroll through every channel just to make sure. So my question is this: don't say no turn on red. After you stay at a place, at a hotel, you don't rack up any additional charges. Do you need to go to the front desk and drop off your key, or do you just leave the key in the room? I bet they have a great 4th of July parade. Everybody lines the streets. Okay, everybody, it's 10:15 in the morning. It's Thursday, by the way. I don't know if I ever said that. It's supposed to be Friday, coming home, have a day ahead. Anyway, just had filled up with gas, took my 100-mile snack slash pee break too. But here's the thing, a couple things. I didn't realize I have been riding twisties. I mean, serious twisties all morning. Coming down Highway 69 in Alabama toward Tuscaloosa and going through, I guess it's just the base of the Appalachians. I had no idea that was what I was in store for, especially when I had commented earlier that I was really looking for a nice day of gentle winding roads, and I've had nothing like that. It's been solid. Now I imagine now that I'm coming into Tuscaloosa, it's gonna like mellow out. I mean, I have no idea. I've never ridden up here before, but I had some super intense twisties. It's crazy. I mean, it was fun, but I'm exhausted again, doing a lot of shifting, really paying attention. I just kind of want to sit back and cruise at the end of this trip. And I know that's coming at some point. And I know when that does happen, I'm going to be wishing that there was twisties still. I had just ate a Danish, which were really bad. Those processed Danishes, they're not good. I don't know why I get them. I like the apple ones. They never have the apple ones up here. I say up here, meaning they always have the apple ones down in Mobile whenever I go to a gas station, and I haven't found them here. They're always cheese or berry, cream cheese or berry. So I got the berry. It was actually berry slash cream cheese. Not great, but I ate it because I wanted to have a little bit of sugar. And I had a Gatorade to hydrate myself. It's starting to get warm. It felt very warm when I was stopped in the sun. I'm comfortable riding though. I'm not unbearably hot. I do have a big thing of water with me. And the really cool thing is, I wasn't sure what I was going to do for lunch today, because I do love having my picnic lunches, but I'm out of bread. Well, this gas station was selling biscuits. So I just bought a plain, I don't know if they're fresh or not. They look like they're homemade. So I just bought a plain biscuit and put that in my bag. So now, and I got a plastic knife. Woo, so I don't have to dip it. So now I get to make for lunch my peanut butter jelly with a biscuit, and I bought some potato chips too for lunch. So I'm set. Excited about that. And I have all my water. Oh, we got this. We don't need to wait for that. Got this. Leaving Tuscaloosa. Not very exciting. Oh, hold your breath. So when I stopped for gas, I was trying to go 100 miles before I got gas, and I was at 90. I was at like 98 when I left, so I was going to be, when the speedometer was reading 198, right? Well, at 100 miles, there was no gas station to be seen. I mean, you know, of course, what are the odds? But I kept going and kept going, and my gas was starting to run low, and it started flashing. I don't know what all the signs are. There's like 3 signs that you're low on gas, I think. I was down to 1 bar and a flashing icon of gas, and I wasn't that high. I think it was like 220. And I was still like in the mountains, so I didn't know what was going to happen. But fortunately, I came out of the last turn, and there was that gas station that I used. But that would have been such a pain in the ass. Okay. Just finished the second 100 miles, and I just had a lunch break, at the gazebo. I always manage to find gazebos to have lunch at when I picnic. Every town's got one. You just gotta search your eyes as soon as you get into a town. You can track it down. This one's off the main drag, but it was nice and shady. Good place to stop. So I'm gonna do this last leg. I'm gonna have one more stop just to get some gas, about 50 miles, and I'll probably have a Red Bull just to keep me up for the last bit so I don't get too complacent. So about 99 miles left on this journey. There's the bike all loaded up. She's dirty. The love bugs are out, so the bugs are hitting everywhere. In fact, I just cleaned my visor on my helmet because it was so bad. Stupid love bugs, man, they get everywhere. Right, did I close that? I don't know if I mentioned, but one stop at a gas station, put some things in my back of my tank, my hard case, and I forgot to close it. The pressure from riding must have kept it down because nothing came out. But that could have been horrible. Really horrible. All right, let's finish up this last leg. I'm not going to keep the camera on because I'm in like busy traffic, and it's 43 the rest of the way. And honestly, 43 is it's going to be logger trucks and trucks and a lot of industrial businesses off 43. It's actually kind of a dangerous road this time of day because of the traffic. So it's probably going to be a little bit slow and boring. So I'm going to shut this off and I'll put it on at the end. All right. Talk to everybody later. Bye now. Okay, everybody. It's the last stretch here before home. Just went and got some gas. So I don't need any more gas. The only issue I'm going to have is I just drank a Red Bull, which I felt like I needed. But the only issue I'm going to have is I'm really worried I'm going to have to pee. Now, I could do this trip. I was thinking about it. Like people who take serious time off and travel by motorcycle. I could do that as far as the lifestyle goes. I know how to pack light. I know how to do it inexpensively in that, camping and eating lunch on the road. I don't need to stop at a restaurant to eat. I do like my snacks, my gas station snacks, I will admit to that. But, so I can do this relatively inexpensively, and I would enjoy it, but I would need to build in like rest days, and some days I would be like, look, let's just ride I just want to ride 100 miles. Because it is a lot. 300 miles. It doesn't, I don't know, it's weird. It's weird. The first 100 miles, if I do that in the morning, that is so fast. Like, I can't believe how fast I can knock out 100 miles. Then you stop, have your break. Second 100 miles goes by pretty fast, too, to be honest with you. Because now you're at lunch. And you have lunch. But there's something about that third 100 miles, the last 100 miles, that is exhausting. And I guess it's just simply the fact you've already ridden 200 miles, right? Wow, the speed limit is so fucking slow. Oh, fudge. Oh, fudge. Fudge, 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 fudge. Fudge, 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 fudge. That was a cop, and I was speeding. I forgot, I gotta go in the back parking lot. Usually I park in the front parking lot with my car, but I'm on my bike, and my bike parks in the back lot. So that's where I got to be. And the back lot is all a bunch of convoluted one ways. So I got to go this way. Oh God, someone got a third bike. Thank God they didn't take my spot.